Hi there, CJ Jenkins from Century 21 Cornerstone, right outside of Lake of the Pines. We have a gem. This gem is the Table Meadow Farm, and this farm is run by the Gibbard family. Here I have Richard Gibbard.
Hello.
Hi Richard,
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
And Richard is so kind, he is going to give us a tour of Table Meadow Farm. Now Richard, I see some of these plants already on the steps and you've got them out in the sun. What are you growing here?
Right here we have different cucumbers. We have like pickling cucumbers, we have burpee-less cucumbers we got over there. We also have like some watermelon going on over here, some different melons here. We have Korean melons, which are like little tiny golden melons. They're really sweet. They're not that common, so it's something new that we're going to be adding to the stand.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. That's great. Now, how do you keep the critters out of the melons?
Out of the melons, well, we actually have deer fencing that we have to keep the deer out, and then it's just about pest management, just kind of like, whether it's like, always checking, always walking around. You got to make sure, if you don't walk your land, how are you going to know how it's doing? So
right.
Kind of like seeing, after a while you kind of notice like, oh, those little bite marks, that's a cucumber beetle, so I'm going to take this step. Or hey, these are slug bites, so therefore I'm going to take this step.
Okay.
So as natural as possible, always making sure.
Okay, and do you grow the English cucumbers too?
We do.
Oh, I love those. They're really good. They're really good. Well, we're going to take a walk around the farm. How many acres do you have?
This is just over 5 acres.
5 acres.
Yeah. We're not doing the full of it yet, but we are growing our way to doing all of it.
Okay, very good. Well, this is a beautiful farmhouse that we have. This was actually an historic carriage house. And there's an area in this house where the ceilings are very low.
I bump my head on them all the time.
Yes. And it shows you that this property has been here for a very long time, and how joyful it is that this land around this historic property is being loved and cared for and groomed for those people in our community to enjoy wonderful food. Okay, let's go on our tour.
Let's go.
Why don't you lead on, because you know the way.
So we're going to go up into our first pasture. Our first pasture is going to be basically a lot of fruit trees. We lined it up with some roses. My mom loves roses, so we wanted to make sure.
Oh my goodness, we don't have this many roses at Lake of the Pines because we don't have fences.
Yeah, no,
it looks so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, we do it mostly for like her birthdays and like Mother's Day. It's something that she always loves, so it's just like, that's something we can always just keep.
So you buy her a rose bush?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's
that
lovely.
way she can have roses all the time as soon as it comes in season.
These are lovely too.
Yeah.
Look at them. Do you have sterling silver? Do you know that one?
I don't know personal. Oh, well, we have a lot of different ones that are in there, different colored ones. We made a point to make sure, like, oh, does she have that color yet? No. Okay, cool. Let's do that.
Oh, I think that's a sterling silver.
Is that one right there?
Far there, yes. I have them in my wedding.
Oh, nice.
They were my husband's favorite flower. Who would have thought that I was marrying a man who had a favorite flower? But
Flowers
he did.
Are great. Flowers are great. Well, yeah.
So you've got some nice shade
flowers,
here.
Got some nice shade. This is where we're doing a little experiment right now, which is part of our farm too, is always experimenting, seeing what we can do. Okay. These are actually ginger.
Ginger?
It's a new crop that we're trying out. We tested it out was underneath these pine trees because in their native, like where they're natively grown, they're usually an understory crop. So you have like coconut trees up top, and then you'll have these underneath because the coconut trees, they'll take in and kind of filter the light from so that the gingers don't get burned out. They like light, but they don't like too much light. So
okay, so you don't know yet.
We don't know.
It's a root, right?
It's a root. It's a root. It's a rhizome, and actually this one was planted not too long ago, so I don't have any problems taking it up. But if you want to kind of take a look-see, so that right there came off of another what you'll typically see at a store. You bury it a little bit underneath so that they'll kind of like start trying to grow, and then what happens is you'll start putting out these little nodes. So you just kind of pluck them off, and then you plant them, and then from there they start growing outwards. They're like, they'll start. I'm not sure where this one's going to go yet, but it'll do lateral growth, and then you'll know, oh, okay, it's going this way. It's always going to keep growing this way, and then you're going to have.
Oh wow!
Hopefully ginger. We'll see.
Wow.
It's a test. We're going to see if we can do it here in Northern California.
Oh, I'd love to buy some. I love ginger tea.
Same.
And when you go to Bali, you get that fresh ginger tea every morning. Nice. Oh my goodness, nice. Very good. So this area that we just walked past is really a rose garden. It's
a rose garden, yeah. It started off, actually when we got here, it was up above ground swimming pool.
Right, I remember that. It wasn't very good looking.
No, but it had a fun, it's very cool, and it had a lot of roots that kind of up in and everything. But we got rid of it and we put in the rose garden here, and they actually have A lot of different roses. Got like some hydrangeas in the back, so not really a rose. Actually, it has my favorite flower in the very center. Gardenias?
Gardenias are nice.
They're very nice.
Yes,
a beautiful
yes.
smell. My grandmother had a whole bunch in her backyard, and I always loved
think
them.
you need to count how many different variations of roses you have.
I need to get an exact number, but we're probably going to set up another rose garden too. So it'll be probably here, but also as we kind of venture out towards the second pasture, I'll show you, and it's probably where we're going to start doing a second rose garden.
Oh, wow. So do you have cut flowers here?
We're actually starting to cut flowers this year, so we will be able to have some on the farm stand. We're going to see however else we're able to do them, but we do have cut flowers starting this year, and we're usually doing we're starting off with roses this week. We've been doing like different wildflowers weeks prior.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Just lovely.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's about half of it's also about like beautification. You know, we want to make it, obviously the cut flower part of it's really great. It's a great business model too, but also part of it's like bringing in some beauty to it, because, you know, farms sometimes get a rep of being like, oh, it's dirty, it's this, there's poop on the floor, this.
Right.
You know, there's an elegance that you can add to a farm, and also it's a certain functionality too. There's a whole bunch of flowers here that might not serve as cut flowers, but they actually will, they'll bring in say like ladybugs, which are really great for like aphids and other types of stuff. But then there's also things like our deer grass over there. Doesn't really serve much of like a cut flower at all, but they hibernate in that. So now you got a spot where they like to come and eat, but then also they'll hibernate during the winter. So you basically make an environment where the ladybugs are like, okay, I like this place. Okay, I can populate here.
So there's so much science in this.
There's a lot to it. It's a lot of like, okay, I'm going to do this because I'm going to do this, and then you just keep keep at until you've made yourself a functioning ecosystem.
Right.
Will exist with or without you.
Yes. So. Yes. Wow. It's amazing. There's more to it. You know, because when people have gardens, you know, at Lake of the Pines, you know, we have fencing for gardens. Nice. And when you go to put a house on the market, and if the garden isn't functioning, it looks very trashy and tacky. So the idea of having flowers in the garden too is really would give some balance to what it looks like, and it wouldn't make it look like, well, the vegetables haven't grown yet, or I hadn't thought about that.
There's a whole bunch of things you can do to it that you know, obviously is the food aspect of like a vegetable farm or a vegetable garden, fruit garden. But there's a whole bunch of beauty and functionality that flowers just do that, like, you know, some people think of, some people don't. And it'd be great to kind of like show,
I've got some ideas now for my garden.
Go, right? Got a beautiful garden.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So what is happening in the first pasture here?
So the first pasture we have is a fruit orchard. And, you know, there's a lot, again, more flowers going in there too. But the heavy emphasis between, like, you know, what you're going to do is fruit. And the idea behind that also was not just like, oh, I'm going to have essentially Apple Hill in Auburn. Everything has to be diverse. So that's going to help with a lot of different things. It's going to help with, like, you know, pest management, any type of fungal issues, which there are in the general area. So I got to maintain that. But it's like, okay, so I'm going to have apples, I'm going to have pears, peaches, plums, nectarines, pomegranates. You're going to have as much different varieties as possible. Then it's like, okay, what kind of peaches? I'm going to have Eve's Pride, I'm going to have O. Henry, I'm going to have all the different varieties there. That way you have like a nice spectrum of like, okay, it's peach season. The whole season we have fruit, not just one time. And
that's good. Yeah. That makes sense. And so when people come to the stand, they'll have a variety. Exactly. It will be constantly changing.
Yeah.
In that way.
That's part of the future too, because right now they're still fairly young trees, so we can only get so much out of them, but eventually they're going to be full-size trees. We're going to go ahead and be able to harvest a lot of things, so it'll be a constant harvest, like you said, throughout the season. And then it's also like, okay, well, it's peach season, and then it's going to go into, like, say, nectarines. Then it's going to go into, like, say, apples and different fall crops.
Apples are fall, yes, right. We
actually got one apple which we're interested. It's from British Columbia, and apparently it fruits in December.
Oh, wow.
Which is extremely late. So we're very interested in see how that will actually translate here in Northern California.
Oh, yes.
That'd be awesome.
That would be. Yeah. That would be. Okay. So let's keep on.
Keep on?
Keep on.
Let's see. Well, as you kind of see, we also have different berries. You know, it's berry season.
Right.
So we're very happy about that. We have our native blackberries, which are off on our fence here, and we have some on the outer side to kind of protect against deer as well, wanting to jump over.
Oh,
Another deterrent.
Yes.
Make it so they really don't want to jump over.
And you have them in control because berries can take over.
They absolutely can, and You know, it's just one of those things like, okay, they're a berry that is native here, so why wouldn't you want to keep it going? Plus,
Right.
also, they have a certain sweetness that other berries don't have.
Oh.
We love our, like, you know, our triple crowns, the thornless berries, a whole bunch of those. They're great. They make it so easy to harvest, and, you know, your hands don't get
Right.
prickered. But there's a certain sweetness that the natural native ones
Right.
here have that the other ones just don't.
And it's lovely to see the birds here.
Yep.
They're like,
Oh, it's birds. The birds love it here, especially like in the morning, like in like summer. You'll all of a sudden have like this orchestra going on of like these birds plus the different ones that are out there. It
wow.
just sounds like a jungle. We love it.
Yes.
They can be a little bit of a nuisance at times, but so long as you make sure you give them enough water and stuff, they'll kind of eat what they need to, and then they want bugs.
Do they eat your lettuce?
They definitely try. So we actually do have like some tool that we put over the top of it to keep them off. In the end, what you want to do is make sure they have enough water and maybe feed them a little bit of like seeds and stuff, because that's going to give them the protein they want. Then after they're satisfied, they're going to start hunting for bugs. That's what they actually want. That gives them what they need.
Okay.
It's usually like apples or like peaches and stuff. They eat it because they're probably thirsty, or they're just trying to get a little bit of something. Apples and like fruit trees in general don't really give them that much nutrients. It's a kind of a sugar rush, and then they can keep going.
They need the protein.
They need the protein of like bugs.
Right, right. So this pond here, tell me about the pond.
So this pond actually was smaller, and it's grown in size. The idea behind it was, again, as natural as possible. So as you can kind of see, there's a lot of duckweed. And a lot of people have actually this year have been like, hey, you need help clearing out the duckweed? It's like, no. It helps. Not only is it an amazing way to clean out water, duckweed actually has a lot of nitrogen and phosphorus in it. So when we like have our compost pile, we'll scoop it on out, throw it into our compost pile. It's naturally more organic matter, and it breaks down pretty easy too.
Good.
So that's one thing.
So I guess people who are saying, do you need help with this duckweed, they're thinking about using the pond in a different way, like
maybe.
for swimming or that kind of thing. And this is a functioning pond.
Yes.
In a natural setting.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it was kind of the idea of like, if we were to like not do anything, it would function on its own. There's no real input. We don't have bubblers because we have different things. There's a fish that just jumped over there. We have fish in here. We have frogs in here. We actually have like, I think it's like, is it like a native like crawdad or something? Like some?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, they're here.
We actually have those at Lake of the Pines too. Yes.
Had an otter like a couple weeks ago. That was interesting.
Yes. Well, otters get into the boats. And they tear the insulation on the chairs, and leave little gifts in the boats. That's what I've heard about. But anyway,
I can see that.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
But yeah, this is
so now the source of this water. Does this come from NID?
This comes from NID, and the source from there is Combi Lake.
Yes.
So it comes from there. Then it's like there's an outlet, and it comes through there. Comes through the property that's over there. Runs through over here. Then actually goes up towards the school. And then it runs out.
Okay, and NID, folks, is Nevada Irrigation District. Yep. And what gives a country property more value is if you have access to NID. And they measure it in miners inches. So how many miners inches do you have?
Sorry, I kind of cut you off there. We actually only have 1 miner's inch. And it does all this as of right now because we do things like we put down bark and different things like that to kind of retain the moisture. So it's not like, oh, I have to water it for X amount of hours every single day. Get it wet, and then after a while, you can kind of back off a little bit, and there's going to be groundwater.
Wow, so 1 miner's inch. Now, do you have it April through October, or do you have it year-round?
We would like to get year-round because we're going to be putting in future again, more things going into our third pasture for like trees and stuff, just kind of like that extra security. But as of right now, we're until, from April to October.
To October,
yeah.
Right. So do you have a request at NID?
I think we've started it because we would like to get it. Again, we'll be very up to what they are willing to do. We just, it's that extra little security because like last year, we had that really bad drought where it was like the pond actually got down enough that we couldn't use our irrigation system there. We had to use everything manually. So watering everything manually was kind of...
Right, and we've had such a wet year, so...
Yes, this year's completely opposite.
Yes. And
we didn't have to use it.
Now, since the irrigation water comes from NID, your house has a well?
Our house does have a well. We actually got it tested. We have to... It's all part of our cottage food license, which we can talk about later. But we have to make sure it's always up, it's always clean water. And they actually tested out. The well's like 200 some odd feet deep, and there's water as far down as 20. So it's a nice deep well, and it's a pretty full well.
Okay, so do you know gallons per minute?
I don't know the exact, but I know it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good in this area.
Nice.
Right. Okay, let's go on.
All right, awesome. So let's see. Do you want to see more along the lines of the vegetables or what would you like?
Vegetables,
Okay,
definitely.
so
That
we
would
got-
be great.
We got options. We can take you into the herbal garden, which has some berries there as well. I can show you our raised beds. We also have just in-ground plots too. Want to start
Well,
over?
wherever you'd like to take me.
I'll start you off with a garden that started it all off, which is Garden A.
Okay, Garden A.
Yeah, it's all the way that way.
All right.
Also, we got these cherries that are coming into season too,
Oh,
so
cool.
very excited about them. We love cherries.
And is this citrus?
This actually is a persimmon.
Persimmon.
I'm not sure if it's a fuyu. I think it's the other kind.
Its leaves are pretty.
Yeah.
Glossy.
It was actually on, you know, we had our loppers over it because it just looked dead. And we're like, give it time. And it still didn't do anything. Give it time.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah, cool.
Sometimes you just got to give it time.
So you
Sometimes
have an olive tree here?
This is actually one of our favorite ones that is not very common. This is a pineapple guava.
Oh my goodness.
And they grow great. And the greatest thing about them, on top of their flavor, is their harvesting. You know it's ready when they drop to the ground.
Oh, that's easy.
Hey, if it's on the ground, it's ready.
Yes.
It's delicious. They make amazing
Looks
jam.
kind of like an olive tree.
I know, right? Well, we got those two over there, the really old olive trees. But yeah, that,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So you have your tomatoes here.
Yes.
And what kind are they?
So these are a determinate variety. They're called Ace 55s. And this is actually another experiment we've done, and so far we are very happy with. So with the determinates here, you have two different types of tomatoes, families. You have determinates and you have indeterminates. Typically speaking, on a farm you're going to find indeterminates, meaning they're going to just keep going until either frost kills them or a disease. They'll just keep going.
Okay.
Determinates,
Yeah.
these ones, they have a time limit. Basically, they're going to grow, they're going to give you everything, and then they're done.
Oh.
So typically speaking, it's not advantageous for a farmer to do that because, I mean, you're going to get a big burst and then you're going to have to find a way to sell and stuff. So we actually have indeterminates over there, but we put in these determinates into these pots. And we've been fertilizing them with natural fertilizer and stuff. The idea is that we could take them in and out throughout the entire winter when it's a nice warm day, take them out, bring them in during the night. So we're able to kind of cheat to a degree where you can't plant until say Mother's Day outside. We've had these things since like early February.
Oh, really?
So actually you have these tomatoes that are starting to show up. They should, in theory, be done in about a month. So
Okay, so is there a difference in the taste between indeterminate
yeah, you got it.
and a determinate?
Not really. I mean, it depends. Like this is going to be a red tomato, so it's going to
Okay.
probably taste very similar to like a beefsteak. So it's going to be like that kind of nice red tomato. The difference really is just how it grows and how it's going to be, how it's going to produce, and that just means that we're able to kind of get out quicker. So like mid-June.
Okay.
That's about like an extra month early than what
Early,
you
that's
should actually
early.
expect for our season around this time of year.
Now, and what do you have here? Green beans?
These are actually potatoes. You can see they're starting to do
Oh,
the
yes,
flowers.
yes, right.
We
I have
love them.
potatoes too.
They're
yeah.
great, right?
Yeah.
So they're very pretty flowers and everything, but they grow pretty nice here. We have some bags here. We have some in our greenhouse, and we have some going along the rows. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to be able to keep it like a closed loop. So it'll be like we take some potatoes, we plant them, we harvest them, we hold some aside.
Right.
Now we can keep just
Yes.
kind of generating it
Yeah,
ourselves.
keep them going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
with
they're
them,
pretty.
Yeah, with them you got to be a little careful because if any disease that a potato has in its tuber, it will carry on just in general.
Oh.
So if there's a disease, okay, the potato's good to eat, don't want to plant anymore because you're just going to have another plant that's going to have that exact same disease.
Okay.
So things you learn.
Okay.
This is our first garden. This is the garden that started it all off. It's changed a little bit because used to be vegetable rows, but we have different herbs here. All the different things you should see up there are berries. These are thornless berries. So you can go up and just pluck
what
them.
is this?
That's sage.
Oh, really?
We have, that one is I think a white sage.
Oh, it smells so good.
But there's 3 different sages, by all means, you take and smell. I wish we had a smell-o-vision or something where they had that.
Yeah, we don't have that on our
I
camera.
know, right? We have like this type of one here. They have like a purple one over there. They have another kind over there.
And then this?
That one is thyme. So we have like German thyme and French thyme in there. And they just smell amazing. And the bees, as you can see, clearly love them. So whatever makes the bees happy, we try to do.
That tastes good.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then let's see. Yeah, we got different type of spices. They're going to be up there. We have.
Is this a strawberry plant? No, it's a berry.
This is a berry. This is a blackberry.
Blackberry.
And then we have also different type of things like chives up there. We also have oregano. We actually have one that my grandma and grandfather brought from Sicily.
Whoa!
And the family has kept that plant alive, and it's been essentially growing and spreading, and we've been taking it wherever we've gone.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, and you can also see.
I love the way you've got your berries propped.
Yes, we.
So easy to pick.
Exactly. It's a nice little fence line. So you just use these cattle, or it's not, we got cattle fencing as well, but you use these like T-posts and then run some wire through different vines, and you go ahead and you can have yourself a little living wall.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
And from where I live, because there aren't any fences, this would be a great way to create some privacy.
I mean, you could do it. It's not technically a fence.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
So what's going on over there on the right?
So over on the right, we can find a nice little pathway to get to there, because I want to make sure it's stable for us all. Yeah, right over here is good. So over here is our second garden. This is the second garden that we done, Garden B. Go on, careful, I don't want you to like trip or nothing.
Watch your footing there.
Yeah, as I almost trip. So this is Garden B. This is our raised bed garden. And what it is like you can kind of see everything is in raised beds. And the idea behind that is because, as you know, gophers are very prevalent in this area. And a lot of our tubers will come through here, and they love to eat them. So a lot of our carrots come through this garden. As you can see right now, there's nothing really showing because we've just planted more carrot seeds.
Okay.
So they'll be coming, and we'll have them and mature just before summer. If you get them before summer, they'll be nice and delicious throughout summer. If you get them a little bit too late, then
they get a little
they'll like bolt.
what? Yeah.
They'll get woody, and
woody is the word.
You don't
yeah.
want it. Yeah. But we also have like our spring garlic is right here. So this one, not a lot of people really, I guess, know or really use spring garlic, but spring garlic is amazing.
So how is that different than the garlic I would find at the grocery store?
So like the garlic that you find at the grocery store essentially is through the same garlic. But what you'll do is with the regular garlic, you go and let it go into a bulb. And then from the bulb, you'll like dry it out, cure it, and then it'll be ready. You can snip off the green off of it, and here's your garlic clove. With the spring garlic, basically you almost use it like a green onion. Where the whole thing, except for the little fibrous roots at the very bottom, you can use.
Gosh, even all the green.
All of it.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. I love it. You can basically take it and like chop it all up. Let's throw it into a salad. Anything you want. I use it all the time.
These are two old,
very old,
gosh, olive trees. Do they produce?
They do. They produce massive olives. They're like
oh my gosh. Do you sell them or?
We do. We've actually started selling them last year. We're from Sicily, partly. So I have a recipe from my grandfather that I use. So I usually have been brining my own olives years prior, and I still do. But yeah, we've been starting to sell them, and people use them like for making olive
oil,
or you can also. I also have given away the recipe, like what he's done. So
yeah.
So, yeah, got that, and then actually they're about to blossom, as you can see, all the flowers above here. And in a couple weeks, they're going to be just a buzz. All you're going to hear is buzzing as you kind of come through here, because bees love them.
Oh, they do.
They love them. So it's going to be very, very loud.
Like a little symphony.
Yeah, and you know, like how if you see a happy bee has like the pollen on their legs, their pollen pans. They must be going back to the hive several times a day.
So you have some mint?
Have some mint here. This actually, it started off as a weed, because technically a weed is only a plant that you determine that you don't want. So if you want it, it's not a weed. But I saw a plant that was about this big.
Oh my goodness.
And as you know, mint is notorious for being able to take over. But this is kind of our job. So we were just like, I'm going to be able to maintain it as much as I want to do. So it's kind of gotten over here, and it's grown, and it looks kind of unruly, but actually, no, it's exactly what we want.
Now, do you sell this at your stand?
Oh, yeah. We sell them in big clumps, like I'd say, like that's a nice little package right there for about $1.
Oh my goodness, that's a great, great price.
It does, and it smells. I mean, if you want to come in here again, it just smells amazing.
So in the summer, let's just stop for a second and clarify when someone can come and purchase these vegetables and fruits from you. When are you open?
We are open in the summertime on Tuesdays and Fridays, 2 to 5. We're technically always open, so if there's ever like, hey, I can't come out on that Tuesday or Friday, I will be in the town, around on Wednesdays about mid-afternoon. Sure, what would you like? I want this, this, this. Cool,
Oh.
we'll see you on Wednesday.
Boy, that's personal service for
Yeah,
you.
we
It's
do
like
that.
it's like a personal shopper.
Essentially, but that's the thing is
Yes.
we're willing to definitely do that kind of thing if you can't come out to the farm stand. It's not an inconvenience or anything. This is literally our job. This is what we do, and it's our passion too, because you can see this. There's parts that you could just say, I do this, and it makes it easier. But it's like, that isn't the best way to go. It's not best for the land. It's not best for the plants, in general for
A lot
health.
of love and care.
Yeah.
A lot of love and care.
If you want to come out to farm stand, we'd love to have you out on the farm stand. If you're like, hey, I just can't make it this week. Hey, can I do it on this day? Absolutely. What do you like?
Oh, and what's up here?
So this is one of our most active parts of the farm right now. We have some that are going to be kind of coming into fall below us, but right here is it's technically Garden F.
There
So-
you got chard.
I'm going to kind of stand here so I can kind of just start pointing.
Uh-huh.
So you got chard all along here. We
Beautiful.
actually have cabbage that's gone to bolt, but not only does it do a good job of bringing in the bees, actually, this is edible.
Oh, it is.
You're delicious. Here, one try.
Yes.
There you go. Would you like one
A
too?
piece of cabbage.
After that. But it's, yeah,
Oh my, you could put these in your salad.
Yes.
Wouldn't that look pretty?
that's the thing.
This
Is
would
that
look pretty.
these are things that people typically go, oh, it's gone out. Let me just rip this thing
No.
out. And then it's done.
It tastes like cauliflower.
Yeah.
I thought at first it tastes like broccoli, but it tastes like cauliflower.
That's the thing, is that they're all brassicas. That's the family. And they
Oh,
all
okay.
to the extent are the same plant. It just has changed a little.
Variations. Mhm.
So we got these ones. Then over here we have some, red cabbage. Got some lettuce over here. Got more over here. You got to see there's some gopher activity over there. We have the last of our broccoli that's over there. Then we have more Napa cabbage upwards, some bok choy, more Swiss chard, some kale, and then above there you can kind of see like the greens of bulb garlic. Bulb onion.
Bulb onion.
So you're gonna have things like Walla Wallas. You have whites. You have
you have
reds.
Walla Wallas?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. And I think
Oh,
we
yum,
planted.
yum.
I think if you look up there, you see all that mass of it. You actually go there and count it all out. We were about 2,100 plants. So we should, in theory, have a lot of bulb onions coming into the summer season. So
Now,
look
how do
forward
you
to it.
know when to pick an onion? Because sometimes the onions are too big for me and I don't use them all up. Do you have them a different size range for the onions? Or?
Well, what's great about it is that sometimes they'll naturally, like this one grows bigger than the other one. But what you know how it's going to be harvestable is, well, for one, if you're like, I want it now, you just pick them up, they're ready to go. Just clean them off, chop them up, they're ready. But if you're like wanting to get to its full maturity, what you do is you just look at the neck, and as soon as it crimps over on its side,
Then
you
you
know
know
that
it's
it's done.
time.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the onion basically saying, through one way or another, saying, I am now done. I am no longer going to grow beyond this point. Pick me, or cure me, and then bam, you have yourself an onion.
So this is what's happening now. Can you tell us a little bit of how the farm came to be? Where did you start? How many years have you been here?
Technically speaking, we've done a full 3. We're on our 4th year, so we're very happy about that. We started off, technically, we were going to be doing a farm to table restaurant at the beginning, but that all happened. There was a whole bunch of hang-ups, plus also COVID hit.
Right.
And at that point in time, it was very like, you don't want
to do a restaurant during COVID.
Good luck doing anything, especially at the beginning. It was like everything was closed. You couldn't do. It wasn't even takeout for the longest time.
Right.
So we said, okay, well, what are we going to do? So we kind of pivoted, saying, well, we were going to do the farm to table. Why not just do the farm?
Do the farm.
Do the farm. We're already doing it, and that's how we kind of said,
Now,
we'll
now
just keep
the
going.
we, how many are the we?
We is 6. There's me, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, and then my brother's girlfriend.
Okay.
We all live in the house over there, and we're all here, and we all share in the responsibilities. We're all part owners, so it's not like, oh, this person, this or that. It's like, no, we all have a stake in what it is.
so you all get a certain percentage of the.
And we'll sell.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Instead of it being a mom and pop business and the kids come and help.
Yeah, that way it's you have an investment in there.
It's your business.
It's your business.
It's your business.
Exactly.
And your business.
Exactly.
Got it.
And then it's also like a determining, like, oh, what are we going to plant? We are going to be doing this. Oh, well, we didn't see that really sell last year. Okay, well, maybe we'll do this in this garden and we'll up this amount because people really love this.
So do you all work the stand so you can
Yes.
read people's requests
Yes.
or interest in certain products?
Yeah, we all are on Fridays and Tuesdays, so if you come out, it might be that people are in different shifts. We're all out there at the very beginning, but is it kind of like, there's a little bit of like, okay, it slows down now. people are coming in at their different times. All a big rush at the very beginning.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but it'll be like my mom and dad are usually out there packing. My sister and my brother are usually calculating. Karen's also usually packing, my brother's girlfriend. And then usually I'm the runner. So another thing that might be kind of a nice thing to note is we will pick a certain amount for the farm stand, and then we're going to run. So part of it's going to be like, oh, I see that our cabbage is running low. Let me go out there and do it right now. It's going to keep it fresher.
Oh my gosh, so fresh.
Yes, especially like things like
lettuce.
Corn. Lettuce is a great example of it. But corn especially, because corn, as you pick it, it starts immediately losing sugars.
Right,
so
right. My husband said that in the South when he grew up, that his grandmother used to say, if you pick the corn and it hits the ground, it's too old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's true, because they keep losing their sugar. So if you want the sweetest, you want to kind of make sure it's as close to harvest as possible.
Now,
so
do you grow? I haven't seen any corn here.
Corn's actually just starting. This right here is a silage tarp, or silage tarp, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Basically what it does is that it's a weed suppression, and what it's going to do is it's going to kind of bake the weeds that are there, put the nutrients back into the soil. Any weed seeds that are there are going to germinate, but immediately going to get blocked out again. So now you've gotten rid of the weeds, and then their seeds, it's a now clean slate.
Oh,
go and put down, your fertilizers.
No Roundup here.
No Roundup.
Thank goodness. Thank
it's a dirty word here.
Yes, it is.
No Roundup.
Yes.
But then when you do that, it's ready to go. And actually, that's going to be one of our corn plots that we're going to be planting this weekend. Over here right now is going to be getting the silage tarp probably next week. And then actually down the ways over there, if you kind of look all the way down there, is where we've already planted some corn, and it's just starting up. It was kind of a weird year, so normally by now we'd have corn showing.
Yes.
But it was kind of cold.
We kind of missed spring.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden warm.
It was just so cold.
Yeah.
And then what do we have in here,
This
Richard?
actually just got planted, like maybe fresh. An hour ago.
Yes.
These are sweet potatoes, which is another new crop we're doing.
Oh.
And we're very excited about this one, because it seems like not only is it an easy crop, but also it's one of those crops that, like, okay, you take a sweet potato, save that one. That one's going to generate enough sweet potato slips, which is what these are called, for next year. So it's kind of like you can always perpetually keep growing your own sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes and yams are the food in Africa that keeps people alive. So, I mean, it's so nutritious.
Yes. And I know you could do a lot of things with them. Me personally, I might just be a little crazy, but I love just slicing them in half, put them in the oven. As soon as they're cool enough, I just eat them.
Right. And the skins too.
Skin and all. And that's the thing, is you could put like honey. There's a lot of great things you can do, a lot of great recipes.
But they have
I
so
just
much
love them as
flavor.
is.
They have so much flavor. And another thing too, which I've grown potatoes before, and a lot of people spend the time saying, oh, grow your own tomatoes because they taste so much better than store-bought. But potatoes falls into that same category.
Oh, yes.
Because a russet, is it russet potato?
Like russet,
right. Has no flavor. Yeah. And then you grow your own potatoes. Oh my goodness. So I'm looking forward to eating yours and comparing them to mine.
I mean, they're great. I mean, if you grow your own, you're probably going to be like, yeah, it tastes pretty much how I do it. It's just different varieties of what we're doing.
Yeah, we have 3 different kinds, but yes, it'll be fun to see. And very good.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us at Lake of the Pines Living Facebook and YouTube. We have been at the Table Meadow Farm in Auburn, California. We're in North Auburn, right off of Comby Road. The farm is on Table Meadow and Comby Road. And I want to thank you, Richard, so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
For giving me a tour. And guess what, guys? We didn't see everything yet.
There's a lot.
There's so much more. There's strawberries. There's lots of other things that are growing here that we didn't get a chance to see. But put it on your calendar. Make it an important part of your day on Tuesdays or Fridays to come to Table Meadow Farm. The time again?
2 to 5.
2 to 5. And treat yourself to some of the local fresh food that we have here in the Sierra foothills. Richard, I have a question for you. Since we didn't get to finish up with all that you have to offer, may I come back again?
Oh, absolutely, please. Our pleasure.
Great. Well, we'll do this in a couple of weeks, and we'll let you know about the things that happen inside the home at Table Meadow, and then we're also going to tell about how you contribute to the community with the school kids.
Oh yes, got a lot of things we can do there.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.